Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, I got you too. Sweet.
Here we are once again.
Yeah, this is Poor Bastards Almanac, episode 49. We're doing it.
Making our way towards boomer status.
Hell yeah.
Feel like talking some video first?
Dude, absolutely.
Man, I've been playing UN Squadron on Super Nintendo.
Okay.
I saw a SNES drunk video on that not too long ago. And I've been playing it. It's your typical plane shooter, side-scrolling shooter, kind of like R-Type. It's a little easier than R-Type. I got my nuts cut the other day on R-Type. I didn't even make it to the boss on the first level. And I was playing on easy.
Oof.
Yeah, it defaulted to easy. And anyhow, yeah, it's that one hit life deal. Badass soundtrack, both of them. UN Squadron's a Capcom game, so it uses some of the same MIDI instruments from the Mega Man X series, and that's some of my favorite music ever, period. Game music or otherwise.
You said it is a Capcom game?
It is, yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, that's pretty badass.
So that's really all I've been doing on the emulator front. I haven't done much outside of Halo, honestly, for like the past month. Squeezed in a little bit of Red Dead, but I can't even get the game to load half the time. I typically have to, Control Alt Delete and kill the process and restart the game at least twice before it'll run.
Oof.
It'll get stuck at a perpetual loading screen. So, it's the perfect time waste. You don't know if the game's really still loading or if it's stuck in a loop until you wait 10 minutes.
Oh, ouch. I've seen a lot of complaints about the game not running correctly.
It's not optimized well at all. I downloaded a separate program called Process Lasso that you can manually. I guess you can manually direct your CPU to have a certain load on programs and stuff like that. And there's a couple of settings that I jimmied with from a guide that I don't know exactly what I did, but it has worked better. The in-game, if I can make it into the game, it flows all right. It'll get a little choppy in towns and stuff, but I honestly don't spend too much time in towns. It doesn't really bother me that bad, but the graphics are really, really good. And it really just pisses me off more than anything that it doesn't run as smooth as it could in towns. Because I just feel like, just give me 15 more frames, man. Just 15 more frames, and this would be perfect. But I'm real disappointed with the quote unquote out of the box condition that these AAA game developers are, releasing. So we've talked endlessly about Fallout 76 and Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, for God's sake, there were people that toiled away for years to try to bring Red Dead Redemption to the PC. And then after all these years, it's the quintessential late PC release for Rockstar. And then it's this, most folks couldn't even run the damn game the day of. It's not a Steam native title, so you got to have the Rockstar launcher. People were having issues with their social club accounts. Just an absolute shit heap.
Yeah.
But what hasn't hit the skids is the Master Chief Collection 343. I would give this a solid B.
Dude, except for that shit thing with the hotkey. So
yeah,
there's no controller. You can't assign a controller button to a hotkey?
No, it's from what it looks like, it is hard bound to the V key. And no matter how you slice it, joy to key works, but it's going to swap the input in the middle of you holding that key down from controller to keyboard.
Yep.
And so that's because communication is key in Halo. It's way more chess than checkers. You can have a guy on your team that is really skilled in shooting, but if he's not coordinating with his team, I mean, even the most skilled player has a difficult time taking on two people that are focusing them.
Well,
because it's.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
Oh, I was just going to say, because it's 4 shots to get your shields out, and then you got to have that headshot, and you can take someone's shields out way fast with 2 people, way quicker than you can just one person. And communication is key. Being able to talk to your team uninhibited, that is crucial. You're not going to win competitive Halo matches unless all 4 people on your team are talking. Because as the hardcore settings go, there's no radar, so you are relying on communication to know where the other team's at. So mouse and keyboard players have a little bit of an advantage there. Being able to talk. Not many people utilize it. I mean, you really have no idea if someone's using mouse and keyboard or controller. But mouse and keyboard is a lot better for long range shit. I mean, those mouse and keyboard dudes that pick up the sniper rifle are nasty. Absolutely nasty. But there's some really good folks that stick to controller though, so it's not impossible to be good at long range with a controller, but it's difficult.
So I mentioned to you guys, I showed you guys about using one of your controller buttons as the V key. Now, you could, if you want to spend enough time fucking with it, you could set up your whole controller to emulate mouse and keyboard. Your joystick will emulate mouse input. So all of your buttons can be keyboard input, so it's not changing back and forth between keyboard and controller. It's going to take a lot of fine-tuning to get that joystick mouse. Well, I mean, it might not. It might only take a little bit of fine-tuning to get that mouse emulation, it's technically a joystick. Yeah, well, joystick emulation, whatever, to get that situated. I mean, out of the box, they have a, what do they call, mouse-like joystick that outputs a mouse output, but still acts just like your joystick. And that's all in the Steam settings there. So, I mean, if voice is that important, it may be worth digging into that.
It really is. I have no idea when they're going to update this again, but that's, right. Yeah, being able to talk is huge. And as long as there aren't any drawbacks to the joystick mouse deal,
not really.
I might give that a shot.
Because that's what I end up using in most games that I use my controller for. I'm pretty sure in American Truck Sim, I'm using a mouse and keyboard layout. And that's what I'm doing, is I'm emulating a mouse with my joystick. Well, with my touchpad, really. No, with my joystick. I'm using my joystick on my Steam controller to look around. I'm using both of my touchpads as pop-up menus for all the different, truck options that I've got.
Those Steam controllers were worth every penny.
Yeah. But I mean, that same technology transfers over to Xbox controllers. They just have less buttons than a Steam controller does. So that's the only drawback there, really. But yeah, I mean, give that a look. There may be, if you go into community. For Steam controllers, there's a community section where you can look and see what people are using. It tells you like this configuration's been used for this many hours and it has this many upvotes.
That's right. I forgot about that because people make their own configs.
Yep. And then you can publish them and other people can use them. So that may be worth looking into to see if somebody else already has a community configuration set up, if that's an option on Xbox controllers. I would imagine it would be. That's why the framework is there. Especially since they're discontinuing Steam controllers, at least in this iteration.
I wonder what they'll do next.
Yeah, I know. Well, all their focus is on VR right now because, their eggs are in that basket. I wouldn't say they have to be in that basket.
And that's their tree, and they're sitting in it at the moment.
Yeah.
Everybody's paying attention to them.
Yeah,
I'm trying to make that run in Halo, though. I'm trying to get that competitive up. My rank is not where it should be. I'm a lot better than I used to be back in the Reach day. Duck is saying that he's trying to get back to where he was. I think he's still solid. But he was back in the day, he was in Gold League trying to get up into Onyx, and I was just trying to stay in gold. I was trying to get into gold and stay in gold.
I want to know where the gold at. Give me the gold.
It wasn't with me, I'll tell you that much. There's really no in between right now for me, because I don't generally solo queue for competitive. I'm always with Duck, and we'll get paired with people in the 20s. He's like 15 and I'm 5. I'm scrubbing. We're going up against 20s. And if you play social 4-on-4, you can bet your ass that your other 2 teammates are going to suck. Me and him had a pair of teammates that didn't even get 7 kills between the 2 of them.
You finish up this J ski that I rolled last night. I hadn't rolled a J in a while, and it went pretty well. I didn't have anything to make a filter out of, but it turned out pretty good. Man, I want to get, so we can talk drugs for a little bit if you want to.
Let's do it.
In Minecraft. So,
these new Minecraft mods are getting out of control.
Yeah, they're pretty fucking cool.
So tell me about some new Minecraft mods, bro.
So I've been looking at, they've got some, and I don't know, all of 15 people that listen to this podcast may already know. I imagine you're probably drug users if you're still hanging out with us, but if not, here's some information. So they have pre-rolled joints now that are like, they're rolled in like flavored paper, I guess, or they're rolled in raw paper, which I guess is some sort of probably hemp-based organic rolling papers. Why not get my info straight? I got it right here in front of me. Raw papers. The natural way to roll. My birthday is January 1st, 1940. Jesus Christ, that's a baseball bat. Products, papers. It's pure, less processed rolling paper, unlike anything that's ever been seen or smoked. I just need to get me some papers, I think. They do have organic hemp papers. Their classic papers are naturally unrefined plant fibers and finished with a natural tree sap gum line. Sweet. I might have to get me some of these papers just to roll my own, but they have some pre-rolls in raw papers. That are like rolled in keef I mean, and they're like golden, and I mean, it's fucking crazy. It looks awesome. I want to get one. Instead, I got some DMT, which I was really close to doing tonight. I just kind of I thought about it. I was like, I've got time to do it, but I don't know. So a DMT trip is like 5 to 15 minutes, depending on how much you take, and I guess what you have your server settings set to, of course, in Minecraft. But I'm worried about, not worried, but I'm just wondering how long you've got like after effects. Like if you feel burnt for a while afterwards or anything like that.
Yeah, if it's one of those things like those harder psychedelics in Minecraft where you got to carve out a day.
Yeah.
It gets harder and harder to do.
Yep. So yeah, I'll probably be able to report on that the next time we do this. I should have some time this week or next week to figure it out.
Yeah, we need a little trip report. We need some data.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't mind providing it. Hell yeah. Man, let's see. What have I been doing? I've been playing Ghost Trick, which is that DS noir puzzler. I hadn't played Xenoblade Chronicles. The past 2 times I've played it, I've gotten stuck. I've just been running into a wall. So I might be done with that game. I hate to say that because I really want to dig into another full game, but I don't know. Maybe I just don't have time to do that anymore, which sucks. I used to play a lot of 60-hour games was nothing.
Yeah, I've been looking to settle into a good freaking RPG. I need to get back into Tales of Vesperia. It's for what it is, it's a good game. I'm glad I picked it up on sale. I mean, the cutscenes, the voice acting is good. It's just the dialogue is your typical over-the-top anime shit, man.
That's kind of how Xenoblade is. It's very it's just everything's very dramatic.
Yeah, everything. But I mean, it's Vesperia's got a pretty decent storyline. I like the combat.
I've got Tales of the Abyss on the 3DS. And honestly, see, I've got a friend who likes the game, but they're into all sorts of the Tales games. Abyss is the only one I've played, and I did not care for it at all. And I think I played it for a while to just try and see if I could ever get into it, and I just couldn't.
I've played a few of them. There was one that had a release on the GameCube that I played. I think I've got 2 more. I've got Berseria. I've got more Tales of games than I thought. I think I've got 4.
You've got them all on PC or what?
I've got 3 on PC and one of them is GameCube.
Oh, sweet.
But the GameCube, the one that I've got on GameCube, it does have a PC release. And it's all like action combat.
God, GameCube's got such a good library.
It does, man. It does. And it runs the Dolphin emulator, I know I've said it before, it runs so smooth. There's a lot of, and if it's not running smooth, there's plenty of options to tinker with. Every now and then I'll run into a game that doesn't quite run as well as it should. And there's always a fix. This Halo Reach release, it runs smooth as silk, man. I mean...
So Reach is Halo 3?
Reach is the 4th and final game in the story.
With Master Chief as the protagonist.
Actually, Reach is, I say the 4th and final. It was the 4th Halo game to be released, and it's a prequel kind of. Master Chief is the last Spartan. the last of the dudes that wear the badass armor and stuff.
The Mandalorian.
And Halo Reach. Yeah, and Halo Reach basically explains the story of how Master Chief became the last Spartan. You take the controls of Noble 6, and you end up your team, your badass team, Noble team that you're on. As you're playing through the campaign, the closer to the end you get, your boys get murked one by one, and it comes down to it being just you. Like I think like one ship escapes Reach and you fight to the last man. So there's no living through the last level. You eventually die. But it's fucking badass how they did that. So it was Halo Combat Evolve released on Xbox, and then Halo 2, and Halo 2 was the advent of Xbox Live. Back in the original Xbox Halo Combat Evolved days, if you wanted to play against people, you were either doing it on the same TV split screen, or you had to link up two Xboxes and play on separate TVs. So if you were going to play a full 8-person match, you had to get some cats together. I mean, you had to make some plans to do that. And me and Duck used to do that a lot back in the day. So that was Halo 1 was all about playing against your friends. Then Halo 2 was playing online. Halo 3 was arguably the fucking heyday, man. Halo 3 was on the Xbox 360, and you know, Xbox Live was red hot back then.
Literally, and, with Red Ring of Death reference there.
Oh yeah.
Wait. Dude, I bought a 360 on eBay. This was my first, because I had a Dreamcast too. This was, I've always been a Nintendo fanboy. I'd had all the systems up to the Wii. I didn't get a Wii U. I don't have a Switch yet, but other than that, I've had everything except for the fucking Virtual Boy. So I finally broke down. I was like, I really, really want to play fucking GTA 4. And it wasn't out on PC yet. So I found I found a 360 on eBay, listed as like new. And so I bought it. And I bought GTA 4 because that was the only reason I was buying the goddamn thing. And it came in and I played it for less than a week. I was playing GTA 4 and then I got the Red Ring of Death. I was like, what the fuck? So I take to the internet to try and figure out how to fix this goddamn thing. Because I'd read, zillions of people have had this problem and surely people were trying to fix it. So I started up a tutorial on how to fix it and I went to take it apart. And they're like, okay, so check out the back of the Xbox 360. There's 2 tabs here. You kind of have to like fuck with them to release them and open up that case. So I turned it around and I looked, and it had all these fucking scratch marks all over those 2 tabs already. And I was like, whoa. This motherfucker is not like new. So I went to PayPal, I went to eBay, and I refuted I disputed. I opened a dispute. They said this was like new, but it's got a Red Ring of Death, and it's got scratches on the cover as if it's been repaired already. And that is not like new. And sure enough, I was able to send it back, and I got a refund for the damn thing. I was really surprised.
Hey, that is not at all how I thought that story was going to end.
Whew, I know. So I just drug my ass to Walmart and paid full price for a brand new one. And then it got stolen anyway. I did own it for a while before it got stolen. I forget what year I bought it. It must have been 2008, I guess. That's what it feels like.
And was that the great DS heist as well?
Yep. They grabbed my Xbox because it was in the living room. They drank a beer. They opened the fridge and they drank a beer. And this was a crazy night. Like, this chick I was dating was fucking insane. And we ended up getting in this huge argument, one of many, many arguments. And I walked home that night. I mean, it was a good 5 miles probably. and it was like 3 a.m. I get home, and my back door has been slammed into. And I was like, wow, this is a fitting end to this night. And I was like, well, shit, I hope there's nobody in there, you know? That was scary at first. But yeah, no, I kind of just crept through the house and walked in and made sure nobody was there. And then I think I'd already called the cops. I think I was already on the phone with 911 by that point. And then, yeah. So they opened up the beer. They opened up the fridge and drank a beer. They tossed it on the recliner in the living room. They grabbed my 360, which was sitting there because like a week before, me and you and my brother were tripping, and we started watching Alice in Wonderland. And about, I don't know, we got up to the door knocker scene. I remember that. Before one of us piped up and we were like, you guys understand what the fuck they're saying? And somebody was like, nah, I'm pretty sure they're speaking in French. I mean, it took us that long. That's a good ways into the movie. It was funny as fuck.
It did, dude. Yeah, they had already done the song out in the field. Yeah. Kind of fucking.
Dude, we were tripping balls. Those were really hard trips. I hadn't tripped that hard in a long time. I don't know if it's because I trip a lot, but whew. So that same night, we'd gone into I think after we figured out that we were fucking idiots, we went into the living room to watch The Song Remains the Same, the Led Zeppelin live DVD.
Yes.
And I stuck it in my Xbox, and that's what was sitting in my Xbox when they stole it. But yeah, they walked in my room. They tried to grab my computer tower. I guess they realized that thing was like a goddamn dead weight. And it had way too much shit in the back. I don't think they could have figured out how to unplug it all. I'm surprised. I'm kind of surprised they didn't grab it. That would have been insane. Trying to replace my computer and like every file I'd ever had, you know? So I was grateful they didn't take it. And then, yeah, next to my bed was my case with my DS in it and all my games. And yeah, they just picked that up.
What a bunch of shitheads, man.
Yeah. It was all right, though. I've replaced most of that shit now, except for my Xbox. I never got another Xbox again. Which shit, I don't think I've really bought a console since then. A 3DS. My 3DS is like the newest thing that I've got. I play the fuck out of my 3DS, though. My whole family plays 3DSs together. That's what we do. It's really fun.
Yeah, y'all do. Yeah, y'all do. Really, the only game I've played on the 3DS was, I think, Advance Wars. One of the Advance Wars games.
So what is...
I enjoyed those.
Yeah, what is that?
That's, I mean, in the overworld of Ogre Tactics, that...
It's a tactics RPG?
It is. You've got, your units that can only move so many spaces on the overworld. And, you can fight. It's kind of like chess, where you move slower through water, quicker through land. If there's forests, you're going to take a movement hit, mountains, yada, yada, 3 bags full. But there's also, armor and helicopters and stuff. And it's kind of rock, paper, scissors on the unit types. Jets are going to smoke helicopters. Helicopters are going to plow through infantry. Tanks, you've got anti-air and stuff like that. And what you want to do is you've got to move your infantry units out onto neutral cities. And you got to sit on top of them for a turn or two. And once you capture those cities, you get resources every couple of turns that you can use to buy units to deploy into the field. And you can play as several different generals that each have their own strengths, and they each have a power ability. Like one of them, I think the Russian dude, after a certain amount of time, a little special bar fills up, and then you can use your special skill, and it lasts for an entire turn. I think one of his was for overpowered tanks. His tanks would just be sick nasty. They could fight things that they otherwise wouldn't be able to fight well. And anyhow, yeah, there was I think 2 or 3 different Advance Wars games. They were all really good.
You played on an emulator?
Yeah. I think the first Advance Wars I had on a Game Boy Advance emulator, Visual Boy Advance. It ran really well.
I ended up getting a DS emulator after my shit was stolen. That's why I was sitting there thinking, I was like, why did I use an emulator? Because I started playing 999 on an emulator. That's a really fucking crazy game. That's one of the craziest games I've ever played. It's like a Saw kind of storyline. I mean, it gets brutal. Dude, did you ever play? Nah. How much did I tell you about Doki Doki Literature Club?
I remember you mentioning that, but I don't remember much about it.
Man, don't play that game if you're geriatric. That's for sure. It will give you a fucking heart attack. It's such a weird fucking game. Weirdest game I've ever played by far. It's just a visual novel dating sim kind of thing. And it is fucking crazy.
Pretty dark.
Yeah, it's amazing. That game is like, stick with it. It takes a while to get there. And it's just so, and it feels so weird because you're like, why the fuck am I even playing this? Like, why do I care about this story? And then, like, it's really cool. You know, there was another game I played kind of like that called Her Story. It's just like interrogation room footage of this chick. And I think her husband's been murdered, and it's interrogation room footage of that. And it's kind of just a visual novel kind of thing. It's a little bit interactive because you get to search a database. You're sitting down, like, I think you're her sister or something, or you're a family member, and you've come to, like, kind of look through all of this data yourself to try and figure out what the fuck happened. And it's really fucking neat. Because it doesn't end. Like, there's not like you won the game. Because either you find your way through all the stuff or you don't. You know, there's like no lose condition. It's very neat. But I'd still call it a video game. It's interactive enough.
You know, I don't think I've ever played a game like that.
You ever played any horror games? Just straight up horror?
The closest I get is DayZ, and that's about all I can put up with.
That shit's pretty, that'll get your heart racing. That counts for sure. God, I miss that game. I miss that game so fucking much.
I do too.
Just running around in the woods, man, for like 3 hours. But like, you've got a goal, you know?
Yeah, you're always trying to do something. It's a goal that you've set. You know, you get lost out in those Chernarus woods and wander around for hours, and then you're like, dude, we were so far away from where we started. And you're like, oh, let's check this town out, and it's the town that you left in the beginning, and you're hitting it from another angle.
Yeah.
You realize you just went one huge freaking circle.
Those cities are massive too. Like, that game had such a sense of real scale. It took forever to get everywhere. And on the way there, you could starve to death, you know? That's the other thing about DayZ is there's a large portion of the beginning of the game where you need to do something. Like, you've got to find food and water. You've got to find ammo, stuff like that.
And it totally forces your hand to go to a town or a city or something.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, if you're on a high pop server, you're more than likely going to see somebody in the first few minutes of spawning. They're going to be other fresh spawns, or they're going to be spawn camping. And for sure, they camp the major city. So whether or not you saw somebody when you spawned, you're definitely going to see somebody when you get to one of those towns. And not only that, but that now you've got like zombies spawning. And that was a really cool mechanic, is that the zombies are just like moving obstacles through a town. Like the town itself is a big obstacle, but now you've got to dodge these zombies, and that's very dynamic. You always have to be watching for them, and that's very cool.
Always have to change your path to account for those. The plan goes right out the fucking window in the first 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
The scariest things here in zombie aggro that you know you are not responsible.
Yeah. And then you get your shit together, and now you don't need to do anything, and now's when you can pick your own adventure. There's like that first goal is just not needing anything, and then you're set, and you can go do whatever you want to do. You just go chill. Which, I mean, chilling's an adventure in itself in that game. It is not easy to chill.
No, it's not. I reached chill mode. I learned to make my way with a meager existence, dude. Get a burlap and rope. The burlap would take so long to find. Oh my gosh.
See, I quit playing before burlap was really a thing.
Yeah, there was a period in time there where when you spawned on the beach, you could search the beach for tiny rocks. And then you put that tiny rock in your hand once you found it, and you'd go up and crouch next to a larger rock, and you could scrape that tiny rock on the big one and sharpen it up and have a stone knife.
I definitely don't remember that. Holy shit. Okay.
Dude, that stone knife only took up one slot in your bag, and it was just as good as any other knife. I mean, other items could be used to open up cans a little bit better, but
it'll open cans.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, I mean, you could use knives to open cans.
That's
but,
cheat mode, man.
Want to get you'd waste half of it. I mean,
I gotcha. Yeah,
you'd be better off bashing it with a hammer or something like that. But picking up that knife and getting the rope and burlap, dude, shoveling seeds. I mean, there were guys that just wanted to go straight for the military bases. I'm trying to hit the outskirts and get my shit together comfortably. I got to where I was in-game gear if I had a double-barrel shotgun with a speed loader and I had enough food. That was it. That was it for me. I didn't require anything else. Pistols and magazines and ammo, that just took up way too much space. Because I'd run with that courier bag. You could put burlap and rope together, and you'd have a small little sling pouch, and I'd run with that. You could cut down some sticks and add it to the backpack and make it bigger, but I never did that. Because once they instituted stamina, I was already used to running around with hardly anything. And boy, you can outrun those military cats that are chugging with those AKs and Alice packs and chest rigs and all that shit. You can straight dip on somebody.
Playing the scout.
Yeah. I was way better at spotting people than I was fighting them. And I just, check those deer stands for some binocs. Straight scoping out.
There were so many times in that game where I got owned by another player. Like, I mean, we got in a legit battle, and I just got my ass whooped. That should hurt. Hurt your pride, man.
Yeah, man. My PP hurts every time I die in DayZ.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you die by zombies, you're like, well, I'm the dumbass.
Yeah, dying of starvation, waiting on your crops to grow. That's how I'd fucking do it, baby.
Die from breaking your leg by walking down some stairs.
Man, when they
fuck this game.
When they finally got the new player controller in, that was so much better.
It was still interesting with that mechanic. It just made that game all, it added accidents to the game in a disproportionate amount, but
you're going to get stuck on that incline. Walking up hills, dude.
Dude, that video, the one that got away, I have that video downloaded. You got it, so you owe it to yourself. Are you running Ubuntu right now?
No, I'm still on 7.
You piece of shit. You piece of shit, man.
I should have been on Ubuntu all weekend.
You've always been a piece of shit.
I have. Next week's going to hurt.
So, yeah. There's that little program, just a command line, YouTube -DL. And you can download dude, I just threw my favorites playlist into it. I fed it my favorites playlist and it downloaded them all into a folder, named them all. Like, it even numbered them how they were in my playlist. Definitely worth trying to learn. Because I'm worried that YouTube's not going to be there for forever. I mean, shit, they might be there a long time, I'll give them that. But the way they're censoring content, Hollywood's gotten involved. Everybody needs their fucking copyright money for shit that nobody was going to pay for. Like, that's the thing. Like, some of these products aren't good enough to pay for, but, they're still there. You still want to use them.
Yeah, it's a matter of time before people move off of YouTube.
Yeah. But I've had a lot of videos disappear for one reason or another. Video's not available. This video's been marked private. This video was hit with a copyright strike. All 3 of those have been, as equal as one another. One's not disproportionate, I guess.
Yeah, the recursion tracker voice pack that I used to use for PlanetSide 2, the Big Lebowski voice pack. Best one, hands down, if you're going to play PlanetSide 2. I cannot find it. The showcase video for it's been taken down, and there is nothing coming up on Google for it. I thought I had it on my computer somewhere, and I can't find it in my files. I mean, just great stuff, man. Fucking, you headshot somebody, says, "Shut the fuck up, Donnie."
Yeah, you used to tell me about that.
And it would track rage quits too. If you killed somebody and then they quit the game right after it, it'd pop up at the top of the screen, rage quit. And the dude would be like, "This isn't a fucking game, man." "Oh, but it is a game. You said so yourself." It was perfect. But yeah, that one hurt. I wish I would have favorited that or downloaded it.
Luckily, I was able to, I guess, hot tip for, archiving your own videos. If you come across a video that's in a playlist and it's not available anymore, Google that URL. And somebody else has shared that file on another forum somewhere, more than likely. And you can, then you you find a different source for that video, and most likely it's out there. It's probably back on YouTube. That's the thing. It's funny that videos that have been removed for one reason or another, you can find again. Sometimes under like a Spanish language header. That's always funny. It's the same video though.
It is.
It is weird coming across other language communities, like on YouTube. Like you pop up on a video and like all of the comments are in, a different language, any different language. It's kind of wild to see that.
That's how you know you're on some good ass music too.
Hey, that's for sure. Dude, Mouse on the Keys is like my new favorite band. Holy fuck.
That was so relaxing to listen to the other day. I really, really needed that at work.
like all three of their albums are kind of the same, but kind of different. Like that first song is very metal to be just like a piano and a drum kit. Dude, so, all right, we'll wind down on this one. I think if we go to war, I'm going to join the Orange Man Bad team.
Why? So you can get at the top of the scoreboard?
Hell yeah.
Don't play with scrubs, dude. Take it from me. Don't play with fucking scrubs, man.
Oh, man, I don't know. It would be nice to not go to war.
Yeah. I am firmly in the anti-war camp. Apparently, President Trump's message in Farsi supporting Iran protesters is the most liked in Persian tweet history.
Is the most liked?
Most liked. Yep.
Damn.
But, that's coming from Ivanka Trump, alternative facts and stuff like that. I'm sure she's lying.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty funny how quick people rushed to circumnavigate the Iranian penis.
Yeah. That was... Dude, did you see where Michael Moore issued an apology? He says... Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, the dumbass called him Ayatollah and shit. The Ayatollah of Iran's been dead since fucking 1989, dude. That guy is a fucking retard.
Let me see if that tweet's still up. I need to read that piece of shit. I just sent the Ayatollah of Iran a personal appeal asking him to respond to our assassination of his top general with violence of any kind, but rather let me and millions of Americans fix this peacefully. And then shared his podcast link. Because that's where
that dude's a total turd.
That's where the apology was in his podcast. He's a fucking idiot. Like, way to plug your own brand there, retard.
That guy gave one of the best Trump campaign speeches ever. I don't know who he was speaking in front of, but it was a fairly large crowd. And the first time I heard it, I was like, who is this guy? This is a pretty decent speech in support of Trump. I mean, he was just saying how the general American public is going to vote Trump into office, and it's going to be the biggest fuck you to the establishment that anyone's ever seen. And somebody clipped that and put some music behind it, turned it into a freaking Pepe campaign ad. You could probably YouTube Michael Moore Trump speech.
Fucking wild, dude.
Yeah, it's amazing how quick they get on their knees, to people like China and Iran. Yeah, people that just, murder folks for being gay,
Yeah, like it's freedom's not really on these people's register anyway. They don't really care about freedom. I think they care more about this false sense of security.
That comes with being on a, perceived moral high ground.
Yeah. Like, hey, we're going to vote to make the government fix all these problems because they're morally superior to your ideas.
Yeah, the government, and it's all prefaced on, that the government is some benevolent entity, and it's not. They have more of a capacity to abuse us than anybody else.
Yep.
And it's ran by humans, and humans are corrupt pieces of shit.
Yeah. And they'll freely admit that part of it, That's where the logic really falls apart. Well, and they totally misappropriate blame, which, I mean, everybody does that, but it seems especially true that, well, Jordan Peterson says that the Marxists lay the flaws of, I guess, the way that our hierarchies are set up. Marxists blame that on the West. Shit, I'm not making sense. Oh well. It's something he says a lot, and most of the time I can kind of recall it, but not today. Definitely, Karl Marx blames a lot of things on capitalism that were kind of just the fault of technology.
And industrialization at the time?
Yes. Industrialization is what was fucking his little business of making shoes or whatever the fuck he did. That shit was getting industrialized. And he thought this was the fault of the capitalists. Which, I mean, yeah, capitalism exploded the effects of industrialism. Industrialism was coming anyway because it's efficient. But everybody has access to those systems like communist and capitalist. Capitalism just exploded it because it's a freer system. It allows you to take risks. And in a socialistic society, you give power to other people for shit that you should be doing yourself. I don't know. It's fucking weird. But I mean, these are the same people that are like, we love all people, fuck white people, fuck America. We love all people.
Yeah, you fucking white male bigot.
Strange. I don't know. It seems like a group of people who just need some identity. And so they just join this stupid ass group because I don't know. It's like some pyramid scheme of moral values, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. They buy into it so hard, and then it comes down to human pride at that point. It just doesn't fucking matter how many times they say, how does he keep getting away with it? He's not getting away with anything. You're being lied to. You're being lied to.
That's
the ugly face of capitalism. There are media corporations that have a lot of fucking money. And what you got to start doing is stop giving them your attention. That's precisely why Styx's videos are getting shit on by YouTube is because he is taking attention away from Fox News. He's taking attention away from MSNBC and CNN. Because they realize that people's time is finite and they can only watch so much. I mean, True Crime Loser, yeah, that when I'm watching his channel, all the suggested videos are his videos, everything. And if it's not a suggested video, or if it's not one of his videos, then it's of something that's similar to what he's discussing as a topic in one of his videos. So it actually is related. But Styx, it's, the next video that's queued up is always Fox News. And I had to turn off my autoplay because one of his videos would stop and it'd go right into Fox News. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck what the five are talking about. I don't care.
Yep.
And even at the home screen, it's like, okay, this looks like some decent music. You check the comments and it's like, hey, a bunch of people saying, hey, congratulations, the YouTube algorithm decided to plug your music. And it's really, this is here because, the algorithms put it there for a bunch of other people. And the math just says, hey, send this to poor bastard number 2 to watch. Now it's conversations of, people talking from a couple weeks ago on a 5-year video.
Yeah,
that's like a daggum virus that goes around.
Yeah, it really is. I don't know. Some of those videos don't even seem like they'd be like corporately promoted either, though. And that's what's kind of dumb about it. But you'd think at the end of the day, it does have to serve some corporate interest. Why else would they make their own site suck more?
Yeah, I mean, who gives a shit about the Will Smith YouTube rewind? Fucking nobody. I'm sorry, most people today don't have a fucking clue about, his performance in the first Men in Black. It's just, God.
It's kind of like Tom Hanks making that face at Ricky Gervais in that speech he gave at the the Golden Globes.
Yeah, say your thank you, thank your God, and fuck off. It's like, yeah, that's what you guys need to be told.
So now they're demanding he apologize for accepting the conservatives.
And that's where they step in the dog poop.
Yeah, that's some elitism right there.
That because you're telling them that they're full of shit and they're a bunch of elite bow tie wearing fucks, that you must be conservative. No. In fact, I don't have to be anywhere on the political spectrum to tell you that you assholes are completely disconnected from reality.
Yeah.
And, it's the people that agree with them, that the lay folks that agree with the Hollywood elite that just, they show up to the box office like a bunch of clapping seals and just continue to put money in these people's pockets. But I mean, I've heard, word on the street is that the box office largely hasn't been doing well.
Oh yeah, no.
Which doesn't surprise me. I mean,
a lot of that old media's got to topple, dude.
It is, and it's like the Democrat primaries. It's gonna explode. It's gonna take an absolute shit. And it's just a matter of how spectacular it's gonna be and when it's gonna happen. Because I mean, you think I'm gonna raise my family, you know, saying, yeah, let's go ahead and get the Fuck Flicks subscription, and and the Disney Prime or whatever that new Disney shit is. Everybody, it seems like everybody that I know of that has a kid is talking about that. It's just no thank you. Did you see what Disney did to Star Wars?
All right, to be fair, I've been making the argument that Star Wars sucked way before Disney got involved.
Granted.
I watched the prequels a lot,
didn't
and they
help.
are fucking garbage.
Yeah, these new Star Wars movies sound like they're pretty terrible. And yet the absolute hate that fan base slings towards those people that wrote that, oh my God.
The Star Wars fans got really entitled for some reason, and I'm not sure why.
I mean, tweeting, acting like these people are real. Like, there is nobody walking around with the last name Skywalker. I'm sorry to break it to you, dude. That person never fucking existed.
But yeah, the new movies are, they're just like everything else. They're trying to get political.
Oh, that's a great game that I like to play.
They're so woke.
Find the political message.
Yeah. And I mean, I get it. Some movies are like fucking hippie movies. And they're like, man, everybody just get along, man. And some of those movies are fine, sure. But it's not like the whole fake fucking woke thing where everybody's gay and everybody's gender bent.
Yeah, here's the token biracial lesbians in the story. It's just like, geez, dude, really?
Yeah, you get fucking shit on if your if your cast doesn't have the whole spectrum, which is only white and black people.
And it would be one thing if it didn't come from the direction of shoehorn it into the fucking story. I mean, honestly.
Well, at some point, it's kind of like, hey, if we don't do this, the black people are going to get mad at us. That seems to be the only reason why. Or I guess the white women are going to get mad at us. That's probably more accurate. If we don't include the minority demographic, some white women are going to start bitching at us. I don't know. I come across a lot of strange folk in my profession. And a lot of them are they're kind of just like that. They're really dumb.
And, and then they turn around and the political party they vote for because, oh, if you're going against them, you Republican conservative pig.
Man, actually, I came across a fairly unlikely Trump supporter the other day. A guy I'd known for a while. He just kind of outed himself at one point. And he's like, I'm a Trump supporter, whatever, like me or don't. And I was like, huh. I didn't share my views at all. It probably would have taken too long, but I just kind of, I don't know. It made me think like, The TV makes you think that there's nobody that supports Trump at all.
Yes, and that's what I was thinking about just now. Is the precise kind of encounter that the YouTubes and the MSNBCs and Twitters they don't want you to interact with people like that. And it comes down to stifling human communication. That's why people are getting banned off Twitter, and YouTube is fiddle fucking with the algorithm. You post a joke on Facebook, and then you're toast, dude. Twitter bans all political advertising. Just so happens when the DNC is broke as fuck. I mean, why else would they do that?
Shit.
And these woke, diverse people are going to turn around and watch a debate of 5 old, rich, white people. Honestly.
Yeah.
Biden, Sanders, Warren, Buttigie's well off. Steyer, Bloomberg.
Dude, who the fuck is Steyer? And why is he putting ad? I've seen so many people complain about Steyer ads now.
I saw one a month or so ago. Well, actually, it was probably two months or so ago. It was around the time when he first got in, and I think he's just rich as shit. I don't think he has a. I know he's rich off his ass. And before anyone says it, yeah, I understand Trump is rich off of his dick hole, but he built that. Yeah, his daddy had some money. You got to have some money to make it. And look, I don't care about, the bankruptcy that some of his companies have undergone. Dude, that's playing the field in finance. Sometimes you got to do that. Oh, what? You think he was just not going to file bankruptcy just so, to keep you from talking shit about him? Come on.
I mean, you kind of wonder if Steyer's the same way then. I mean, Sticks always calls Trump a New York Democrat anyway. So, I mean, I don't know. I've never heard of the Steyer guy. If he's just rich as dick, maybe he's just jumping on the bandwagon because he can and just calls himself a Democrat because Trump's a Republican and you're not going to beat Trump.
I mean, he calls Trump a fraud.
Oh, yeah. All of his ads attack Trump, don't they?
They do. And he ended one of them with and we're going to, tell Trump what he is. Liar and a fraud. And then he ends with this silly fucking expression on his face like he's telling somebody off. I'm sorry, dude. That guy is wildly successful. Yeah. Wildly successful.
He thinks he's being the Democrat Trump. That sounds like what that is. As he is the caricature of Orange Man Bad. Or Bad Orange Man.